Smith Plays Pokemon has handcrafted a Pokemon Crystal Romhack that is supposed to be what Crystal should have been, with the main goal in mind of improving the Romhack in many different ways without changing it to feel like a Romhack and keeping that core Pokemon Crystal feeling. In this video, I'm going to be playing through this Romhack using the hardcore nuzlocke rules, which are on screen now, to see if he's able to achieve that goal or if the game doesn't feel anything like Pokemon Crystal at all. And for those of you who are returning subs, do not worry, part 2 of the 24 hours in Crystal Clear will be coming. I've seen your comments and I cannot wait to record that video. But enough about that. If you'd like to play this for yourself, I've linked Smith's channel in the description where he has a tutorial on how to play. If you do enjoy, be sure to drop a like as it lets me know that you guys like this type of content and it encourages me to make more. And while you're down there, make sure to click that subscribe button as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. And with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into this. We start the game as per usual, in our room. We meet Professor Elm and are given the starter choices of Cyndaquil, Totodile, and Chikorita. And although Chikorita has been buffed a lot in this game, I still choose Cyndaquil because of my first ever playthrough of Pokemon Crystal, I chose Cyndaquil. I give this little guy the name Detective, and I just want to say that I absolutely love the little sprite at the top left. Just like how I know you're going to love this game. Now I won't lie, I used to believe that this game was just another boring mobile game, but one day I was bored, watching YouTube as you probably are now, and I decided to give this game a chance, and now I'm addicted. The game I'm talking about is none other than Raid Shadow Legends, and let me tell you why I was wrong to judge this game so quickly. First of all, there are plenty of free-to-play endgame players, so you don't have to spend a dime to enjoy this game to its fullest. Now, spending money will help you, but unlike most mobile games, you can enjoy this game for completely free. One of my favorite things is that there's an auto-battling feature, so I'm able to grind this game even if I'm working, cooking, or cleaning my room. Another thing that really surprised me is how much content this game has. From intense PvP that requires actual strategy, to a really in-depth campaign story, and even over 800 unique champions for you to collect, level up, and test out to make your perfect team. And right now they're hosting a bunch of giveaways, including a gaming console, $10,000 in Amazon gift cards, and a bunch of in-game rewards like free legendary champions. Right now, Raid is celebrating the arrival of Spring in Teleria with this special Spring Hunt minigame. All you gotta do is download Raid using my link and create your account, then go to springhunt.plarium.com to enter your Raid ID and begin your hunt today. On top of that, Raid is having their first ever community week, which is a 6-week-long event that allows players to collect free stuff, and who doesn't like that? Within the first week of just signing in, you can get yourself the free legendary champion Chronicler Adeline. New players who sign up with my link or scan my QR code get a bunch of loot to start out, including the epic champion Tyrell, and when you reach level 25, you get even more loot, including another epic champion Rector Draft. So if you haven't tried the game yet, now is the perfect time to do so by clicking my link in the description or scanning my QR code on screen now, and you can find me in-game under the name Oshawaves and join my clan the Oshawaves so we can grind Raid together. We make our way over to Mr. Pokemon, who gives us the mystery egg and an XP share. This will make level grinding a lot easier. And yes, just like every other nuzlocker on the planet, I will be using rare candies to get the level caps, but I personally only do this after the second gym because there is some sort of risk factor when training up early game, and using rare candies negates that risk factor, so this way it balances itself out. Oak also gives us the dex, and we make our way back to Professor Elm, where on the way we meet our rival, who of course has Totodile. We both leer one another, and then we hit a tackle landing a crit, then we take a scratch that's also a crit, and then next turn we take it down with another crit. 3 crits in a row is kinda crazy. We meet up with the cops in the lab, and they ask us the name of our rival, but I'm not a snitch, so I told them I don't know, and they believed me. Now we have Pokeballs, and unlike future generations, we can actually turn down the catching tutorial, which might be the best feature about Gen 2. Jokes aside, we can get our first encounter, which is a Rattata that we named Dentist. North of Route 46, Phanpy has been added to the route, however we did only get a Geodude, but this Pokemon will come in clutch in the next few gyms, so I'm actually very happy with this. We catch it and name him Coach. Heading past Cherry Grove, we can get another encounter in Route 30, and we find a Caterpie. I tackle it doing about 40% but fail to catch it, and since I only have one Pokeball left, I go for tackle again to lower it into red HP, and we land another crit. Although we killed the Caterpie, we can head north to get another Pokemon, and we actually find Caterpie's counterpart Weedle, and I use tackle to lower it, but we one-shot it with a crit. What is with Detective and landing all these crits? However, it isn't the end of the world because we only did get a Weedle, whereas this route could also provide us with Pokemon like Pichu and Mareep, so it could have been worse. However, we can move on to our next encounter, which is a Zubat in Dark Cave. Larvitar was added here, but I am perfectly fine with a Zubat as Crobat is a super good Pokemon, so we catch it and we name him Attorney. 2 more encounters left, then it's gym time. First in Sprout Tower, which only has a Rattata and a Ghastly, and I am playing with Dupe's Claws, so we can guarantee ourselves a Ghastly encounter here. But we for once don't kill with a critical hit and instead catch it and name him DJ. We take on the Sage, who gives us Flash, an Attorney 2-shot his Oddish, Bellsprout, and even a Slunkern makes an appearance, but it does suffer the same fate. However, we now get the Flash HM, and before we can take on the gym, I head to Route 36 where we can pick up a Bellsprout of our own named Barber. Now it's gym time. Still having 2 Pokemon, Faulkner's lead hasn't changed with Pidgey, and we've got Detective in front who 2-shots with an Ember, but rather than a Pidgeotto, his new ace is a Noctowl. We send in Coach, who still doesn't know a rock move, so I just do some chip with Tackle after taking a few Mudslaps. Eventually we send in Attorney, who gets a little bit more chip between Supersonics and Gust, but also proccing Noctowl's Berry. Then we send in DJ, putting it to sleep with Hypnosis, get a little bit more chip with Smog, put it back to sleep, and then send in Detective, and after a few Embers, a burn, and the use of our own berry, we get the KO. This just goes to show that if you don't pick up something to counter Noctowl, all you can do is slowly chip it down and hope for no crits. We drop Dentist so we can get the Togepi egg, and then we make our way to Route 32 where we get a Mareep as our encounter, and after catching it and giving it the name Singer, our egg hatches us a tour guide. After we pick up the Old Rod, we run back to Violet City where we can fish up a Poliwag who is actually a gym trainer, not a Pokemon gym, but a human fitness let's go pump till we dump gym. If we head to the Ruins of Alph and complete the Kabuto puzzle, we actually get the Dome Fossil as a reward in this game, which we can restore later, and I cannot wait to use the Kabutops. And of course we get an unknown here, however, as you can see, it gets to move Ancient Power, which will be a great help against Bugsy's team. I meant to name this Exterminator, but I clicked N too quickly, so all we got is the name Extermin. There's actually a Fossil Restoration Center in the Ruins of Elf, but we do have to wait until after Whitney before we can get our Fossil Pokemon. In Union Cave, we can find ourselves a Rock Snape with a messed up eye. Looking back, I should have named this Pirate, but instead, it got the name Researcher. The south exit of the cave leads us to Route 33, where our encounter is a Machop, but trait evolutions are changed to level up evolutions in this game, so I am super happy with this and cannot wait to use him a champ. Although this little guy isn't much of a bodyguard now, he will be an amazing one when he grows up. I go meet Kurt, who we follow into Slowpoke Well, where we're guaranteed a Slowpoke encounter who's named Auctioneer. You know the people who talk really fast? Yeah, Slowpoke does that too. After defeating the second Grunt in Slowpoke Well, our detective gets a promotion into Quilava. I decided not to cover the Grunt fights here, although they do have completely different teams. They are just Grunts, and almost every Grunt in this game has a completely different team now, and if I covered each and every single one, this video would be way longer than it already is. I then spent what felt like forever walking back and forth to max out Togepi's friendship, and then evolve it into Togetic, who's actually buffed in this game on top of gaining the flying type upon evolution, which will also help us out in Bugsy's fight if we need it. We change the team up for Bugsy, who leads with Pineco, and we've got Researcher in front, who does almost half with a Rock Throw and takes a Pin Missile with ease. We go for Rock Throw again, and get hit with a Mega Drain, dropping us down to 9 HP, and healing just enough to where we live one more Rock Throw. Predicting another Mega Drain, we send an Attorney before sending an Extermin, although the Pineco hits a super effective Pin Missile twice, doing half. However, Extermin one-shots and gets the Omni Boost from Ancient Power. I decided to stay in and test my luck, see if I'd be able to outspeed at +1, but we don't, and we get one shot by a super effective Cut. That's right, in this game, Cut is a bug type move with an increased chance to crit. Coach gets sent in and takes a Cut before one-shotting with a 4-time super effective Rock Throw, and last out is Ledian. It goes for Supersonic, confusing us and causing us to hit ourselves in confusion, and then next turn it sets up Reflect, and we're 2 for 2 when hitting ourselves, so we switch into Detective, take a Comic Punch, hit an Ember, dodge a Supersonic, Ember again, get confused, hit ourselves in confusion, see a Thunder Punch on Ledian, that's pretty sick, but we take it down next turn. That's badge 2, and we add and evolve Singer to the team for the upcoming rival fight. Speaking of, he challenges us and leads with Zubat, but we've got Researcher in front who one-shots with a Rock Throw. Croconaut comes out, so I send in Tour Guide, who learns Return at level 11 as a Togepi, and since we maxed out his friendship, it does a decent amount of damage and actually wins the Battle of the Blows. Pause. Last out is Larvitar, and I figured I'd outspeed, so I click Charm, but we don't. Thankfully we live on 3 HP, and then I switch in a Coach who takes it out with a Magnitude, winning us the battle. Although a close call, I don't see us using Togetic anymore, so I wouldn't have been too upset if it died there. Moving on, we can pick up a Paris in Ilex Forest named Typewriter. We can also get Cut after doing the Farfetch puzzle. Right before we reach Goldenrod City, we get a Route 34 encounter, which is a Snubbull who might actually be the true professor of this region. We can also stop at the daycare to pick up our odd egg that we instantly hatched into a shiny Magby. It is a 14% chance to get a shiny from these eggs, but I'll still take it. Although just born, this baby is forced to become a painter. The first thing I do in Goldenrod City is go underground and pick up the coin case. And there's no point in picking up the coin case if I'm not gonna go gamble in a children's game. And I do so until we get enough points to buy a Porygon. We give Porygon the name Electrician, but since there isn't enough characters for that name, we have to call him Electrican. Next, I throw DJ on the team for one specific reason. On Route 35, there's a chance that we can get an Abra as our encounter, and that is actually exactly what happened. Recently, DJ learned Mean Look, which means Abra can't use Teleport to flee, and this prevents us from failing another encounter. We catch him and name him Physicist. Since I recorded this part on a Tuesday, we can take part in the bug catching contest, which allows us the chance to get some rare bug types like Pinsir or Scyther. And funny enough, we actually do find the Scyther as our encounter, which is only a 5% chance. However, this thing does no pursuit and totally could have killed DJ in one shot had we not caught it. Thankfully, that does not happen, and we placed 3rd in the catching contest, losing to a Venonat, of all things. However, we nickname our Scyther Lumberjack. Now it's time for the gym that is known for ending nuzlocke runs. Whitney and her Miltank, with 3 Pokemon this time. We did change up the team a little bit as we lead Machop into Clefairy. I'd also like to note that I'm doing this entire game blind, so I don't know any of the team changes for any of the gym leaders, and the only knowledge I have is from the original Crystal games. We get Charmed, which drops our attack by 2 stages before hitting a Karate Chop, doing about half. Next turn, we get hit with an Ice Punch and get frozen. Unlucky, but we can make it work. I switch into Detective assuming another Ice Punch is coming, but it Metronomes an Icy Wind, so it kinda worked out. We hit an Ember doing some damage before taking another Charm, but since we're a special attacker anyways, it doesn't make a difference. And we take it out with a crit next turn. Next out is Teddy Ursa, and I don't actually think I've ever seen this Pokemon in the base Pokemon Crystal, so it's really cool to see some Johto Pokemon getting representation. I send in DJ predicting a headbutt and put it to sleep with Hypnosis. I then swap into Bodyguard hoping that I'll be able to thaw out before it wakes up, but that wasn't the case and we live on just 5 HP. So I send in DJ again to put it back to sleep and then send out Researcher who takes it down with a dig and a rock throw. Then comes out this beast. This terrifying monster. Thankfully, we resist both Rollout and Stomp, so as long as this thing doesn't have a water or grass move, we should be fine. I start with Screech to drop its defense stat by 2 stages, and it goes for Rollout that does 1 damage. I go for Bind to start chipping it down, and then take another Rollout and do some decent damage with Rock Throw. It's still locked in a Rollout, so I go for Dig, causing it to miss and reset Rollout, and we drop it pretty low, but it heals itself with Milk Drink next turn as I try to kill it with Rock Throw. Knowing that I have to one-shot it from its current range so it doesn't keep healing, I Screech it 2 more times, putting it at -6 defense and take it out with a Dig. As you can see by the team, I was heavily prepared to deal with this thing, but Onix was the only Pokemon that I needed. We earn our 3rd gym badge, and now we can move on to the story. We got the Squirt Bottle, and I decided to kill the Sudowoodo since I don't ever see myself actually using this Pokemon, even if it's had its HP and special defense buffed. But rather than going to Route 37, we go back to the Ruins of Elf so we can pick up our Kabuto, whose sole purpose of being restored is to be a rock star. Now we can make our way to Route 37 and get ourselves a Pidgeotto as our encounter. Could have been a Stantler, but I'm okay as this marks the entire Pidgey line as dupes now. We give our dupe's father name Economist. We give our dupe's father the name Economist, and although we did make it to Critic City where the 4th gym badge resides, we got a lot more encounters to pick up first. If we fish in the city, we can pick up a Magikarp named Pilot. Moments after, our Physicist evolves at level 18, and we just got a huge power up from this evo. Kadabra is goated. Going right from Ecruteak, we head inside Mount Mortar where we can either get a Cubone or a Rhyhorn, since everything else was dupes, and we get a Rhyhorn. I personally think that Rhyhorn would make a great barber, so that's the name we give it. Heading left from Ecruteak leads us to Route 38, where we get a newly added Doduo who is absolutely a teacher. Then both DJ evolves into Haunter at level 25, and Attorney fully evolves into a Crobat, powering up the team even more. The Burn Tower also had some changes, adding Slugma and Houndour, but sadly we get the D's Nuts joke of Pokemon. I catch this thing once again specifically for Dupe's Claws, and let's be real, this thing is 100% a janitor. Now I didn't actually know there was a rival fight here, so I didn't really get to prepare for it, but let's just hope that we can make it work. He leads with Larvitar, and we have DJ in front who puts us asleep before getting switched for Bartender. It wakes up, hits a Bite and Screech before getting one-shot by Magnitude. Next out is Croconaw, and I don't have an answer for this. So I send in Lumberjack and hope that raw power is more than enough to beat this thing. We take a Water Gun and go for Focus Energy before taking a super effective Ice Punch, dropping us down to half. We go for Cut, which has an increased chance to crit in this game, and I assumed with Focus Energy that this would make this a guaranteed crit, but it doesn't. And we take another Ice Punch, getting frozen, and leaving us on 8 HP. Force a switch, we send out Detective who resists an Ice Punch to bait out a Water Gun for Physicist. We hit a Psybeam that nearly takes it out, but Croconaw knows Bite and takes us out. Attorney comes out and takes it down with a Wing Attack, but that really sucks. Houndour is out next. We hit a Confuse Ray, causing it to damage itself next turn, and then we take it down with a Wing Attack. Last out was Golbat, and we hit a Confuse Ray again, causing it to hit itself with Confusion, and then we start going for flinches with Bite, getting one, and then getting confused ourselves next turn, but thankfully we break through and finish it off with a Wing Attack. We then fall through the floor and release the legendary dogs, and now that that's done, it's gym time. While preparing the team for Morty, Coach evolves into a Graveler at level 25, and so does Pilot into Gyarados at level 20. And with all of that out of the way, we can begin our 4th gym fight. Haunter is Morty's lead, and we've got Coach in front who one-shots with Magnitude since abilities don't exist in this generation. Surprisingly, out next is a Stantler. That's not a ghost type, but we send in Researcher who hits a Screech, dodges a Hypnosis, and then hitting a Dig doing over half before falling asleep. It then goes for Nightmare, which I had no idea was even in Gen 2. But we wake up and take it out with a Dig next turn. Mischievous is out next, and as we send in Pilot, it uses Perish Song. 2 bites are enough to take it out, and last out is Gengar, but I have to switch otherwise our Perish count drops to 0 and we will fall. I send in Researcher who gets put to sleep and proceeds to stay asleep as Shadow Ball one-shots it. Coach comes out, also gets put to sleep, but we stay in hoping to wake up and take a lot of damage from a Dream Eater. We send in Electrican hoping to hit it with a Psywave, but we also get put to sleep. This is really annoying. We send in Bartender as it fails a Dream Eater, but we also get one shot from Shadow Ball. Attorney comes out, hits a super effective bite, and it finally misses a Hypnosis. Next turn, Bite takes it out, and that's Gym 4 done, but in the span of 2 battles, we've lost 3 Pokemon. Shame. We made our way to the lighthouse in Olivine City, and Jasmine wants us to fetch her a potion from Cyanwood. What's wrong with the potion from the Pokemon? I've never understood this. Apparently if we don't, then we can't challenge her gym. But we need to grab Surf, so I head back to Ikritique City, beat the Kimono Girls, and this random man gives us Surf. Then we go all the way back to Olivine, and then west from there, which can lead us to Cyanwood. But in between here and there is Route 40 and 41, which means 2 new encounters. For Route 40, we get ourselves a Shelder whose occupation is an assistant, as he will absolutely be doing that later down the line. And our Route 41 encounter was a Horsey who was working as a paramedic, but we interrupted them and captured them inside a little ball. But I'm sure whatever work they were doing wasn't that important, right? Oh, we can also have a Surf encounter in Cyanwood, which gives us a Tentacruel, and something tells me this guy was a rapper in his past life. Get it? Because they wrap things with their tentacles. We got the super secret potion that I'm starting to think isn't a potion for Pokemon. Then I go all the way back to Olivine City because I forgot to grab Strength, like every other HM so far. Then I prepare the team for the next gym, and the teacher evolves into Dodrio at level 31. Chuck leads with Hitmontop, but we've got Pilot in front who 2-shots with Gust. Then the Tree Imposter somehow disguised himself as a martial artist, so we switch on Auctioneer and take a Rock Slide, and a super effective Feint Attack, living on just 4 HP before hitting the weakest Surf of my life. I send an Attorney, take a Feint Attack, and hit a Confuse Ray, hoping to stall out another turn. But Sudowoodo hits through and knocks Attorney out with a crit. My entire team is weak to this thing, and I had no idea there would be a Sudowoodo on this team. But I'm loving the twists that Pat have added to these teams. I send out Pilot, who I forgot to teach Surf to, so I go for Bite hoping for Flinch, but it hits itself in Confusion, and next turn we take it out. Primeape comes out and gets 1-shot by Gust, and Poliwrath gets 2-shot by it. Aside from Sudowoodo, this gym was a pretty clean sweep. We trigger Suicune and it runs off, and then this guy who's obsessed with that Pokemon wants to throw hands, and he sends out a Politoed. I have never seen this sprite before. I don't know a single trainer that uses a Politoed in Gen 2, but it looks so good. We got DJ in front who takes a Bubble Beam and puts it to sleep. 2 Shadow Balls later and it falls. Hypno comes out but gets 1-shot by Shadow Ball as well. And last out is Flaffy. And I recently added Coach to the team, so we send him in to 1-shot with Magnitude. We give Jasmine the potion, and then I grinded up max friendship for Magme just to learn that this Pokemon and Elekid evolve at level 30, while every other baby Pokemon is friendship. Am I the only one who actually never knew this? But given that information, I do evolve Painter into a beautiful looking shiny Magmar. We also evolve Bodyguard into Machoke at level 28. Our detective gets promoted one final time before retirement, and then I remember about the gift Eevee we could have gotten forever ago, so I go and grab that. And this guy looks like he'd be a chef to me, so that's what we nickname him. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know by now that I love Espeon, and I'm pretty sure it's been in every single video of mine up until this point, so why would I break the trend now? And to sum up this section of the evolutions for the video, we evolve our Paramedic into a Seadra at level 32. And with that, we adjust our team for Jasmine and it's time to battle her. She leads with Skarmory, who I'm pretty sure is a new but great addition to her team. And we had Coach in front, but we switch into Detective, who gets hit with a Swagger. So we switch again into Painter and Skarmory sets up spikes. One Fire Punch takes it down and Corsola comes out. Okay, so it's safe to assume every gym leader will have some sort of Gen 2 Pokemon on their team that fits the vibe but isn't the right type. We switch into Paramedic as Corsola sets up Rain Dance. Then we do about half with Surf and take a decent amount of damage from one back. Paramedic must also be a surfer in its spare time because she won the surf off by a landslide. Out comes Magneton and we switch in a coach who is immune to a thunder. Nice to see that Jasmine is actually using the rain to her advantage. We resist a tri-attack and hit a weak magnitude 5 that lets it live in red HP, and then it sets up Rain Dance once again before going down. Caesar comes out, so I send in Detective hoping to one-shot with a fire move even though the rain is still up. It sets up Sword Dance, but a Flame Reel does take it out thankfully. Also cool to see another Johto type, but that 4 times weakness is rough. Last out is her Ace Steelix, so I send in Pilot predicting an Earthquake, and I made sure we had Surf for this battle, which is more than enough to one-shot thanks to the rain boost Jasmine set up earlier. And that's our 6th badge. To be honest, I'm loving this game so far. It feels so similar to Pokemon Crystal, but these small team improvements and quality of life additions make the game just that much better. I then realized I forgot yet another HM, so I go and pick up Fly, and adjust the team once again for the upcoming Rocket Hideout, which I'm hoping is at least somewhat hard and not just a bunch of level 10 Rattatas. While prepping for the new team, we evolve Copywriter into an annoying menace who can spore anything to sleep. On our way to the rocket base, we find a Gligar as our Route 42 encounter, which got a decent buff in this game, giving it more attack, speed, and HP. We catch it and give it the name Batman, which I would argue does fit the current nickname theme, but even if you disagree, he's still Batman. Route 43, right behind the Lake of Rage, gives us a Giraffe who we caught and named Librarian. And for our lake encounter, we got a, oh my god, no way, shiny Gyarados. Yeah, I suck at fake reactions. Now we do have Pilot the Gyarados already, and what I was originally going to do is consider this Pokemon and Pilot as different entities because one is shiny. So if Pilot dies, I would still have the other Gyarados or vice versa, but later I decided that I wasn't going to do that because it's kind of cheap and rather just replace Pilot with this Gyarados whose name is Copilot. We then talk to Lance and watch him and this random guy Beyblade into the sky before heading into Mahogany Market, where this random guy's Nidoqueen hyper beams the owner rather than Lance's Dragonite. I could have sworn that Lance was supposed to do that with his Dragonite, but it doesn't really make much of a difference, as now we can head inside the Rocket Grunt place, and I'm not gonna lie, this part of the game is pretty boring. Although the teams have been changed to have more Pokemon, it's still annoying to fight grunt after grunt, and even the Archer battle wasn't pretty hard either, which is what you're seeing right now. However, one nice part here is that we can pick up an Electrode, which I've never used before, and kinda hope that it will have some sort of use later on in the playthrough. We catch one and give him the name Locksmith, because he'd be amazing at that job. Oh, and Lance gives us Whirlpool. Now it's time for a bunch of evolutions as I try to plan out the team for the next gym. Bodyguard evolves into Machamp at level 38, Barber evolves into Weepinbell and then again into Victory Bell with a Leaf Stone, Singer evolves into an Ampharos at level 30, and Professor evolves into a Gramble at level 23. Now it's time to take on Price, the Ice-type gym leader. And like every other gym, we change up the team a little bit. He leads with Cloyster and we got our fully evolved Bodyguard in front. Cloyster sets up a Rain as we hit a Karate Chop doing about half, and next turn we take a boosted Surf before knocking out Cloyster. Next out is Jinx, and I misclick swapping into Chef as we resist a Psychic before properly switching into Professor, but we get put to sleep with Lovely Kiss. I don't have a good answer to stab Psychic, so I have to stay in and hope I wake up, but unfortunately I don't, and this is the Professor's last sleep ever. I just used my Thunder Punch TM on this guy too. Damn. Detective comes out and burns this thing to a crisp with a Flamethrower and Price inside a Dugong. We switch into Ampharos and take a lot of damage from a crit. We go for Thunder Punch, but Price predicts that switching into Piloswine, and I realize that I also don't have an answer to the inevitable Earthquake, so I have to sacrifice yet another Pokemon. However, now I can safely switch into Detective and pick up another kill with Flamethrower. Dugong comes back out and I go for Smokescreen, hoping to drop its accuracy before taking a super effective Surf. I switch into Chef, who takes the Surf decently well. Knowing that I'll live another, I go for Psychic, and it doesn't even do half. This thing is beefy. Another Surf drops us down to 15, and with 2 dead Mons, 3 Mons weakened, and 2 Pokemon that are weak to this Pokemon, I'm in a lot of trouble. Eventually, I send in Painter and take big damage from a Surf, but thankfully we outspeed, so I'm able to set up Sunny Day. Though this does mean that we lose Painter, but we have our starter Pokemon, so I'm okay with this loss. Since the sun is up, I sent in Detective, who can take this down with a boosted Flamethrower, and Sneasel's last out, but it doesn't stand a chance. That's Gym Badge 7 unlocked. That also increases our level cap, which means we can evolve Rockstar and a Kabutops at level 40, as well as DJ into Gengar at level 42. Now we have to deal with Team Rocket one last time in Goldenrod City, and after a quick team change, we can climb up to the top of the tower and face off against the Rocket Executive, but I forgot to heal for this fight, so we're going into it injured. He leads with Muck, and we've got a paralyzed Rockstar in front, and our Espeon is at 3 HP. Muck uses Minimize. Great. Evasive strats. We hit a Rock Throw, then proceed to miss the next 2 turns, so we set up Swords Dance, and our next Rock Throw takes it out. Next out is Nidoqueen, and I'm assuming some sort of ground move is coming in, so I send in an injured Copilot, but we get hit with a double hit doing nothing, and one shot it next turn with Hydro Pump. Weezing gets sent out, and we use Fly doing over half before taking a Fledge Bomb. I go for Fly again, knowing that I'll kill it, but it uses Self-Destruct, which we luckily dodged. However, this means we're locked in Fly for the next turn, and of course out comes a Rhydon, who after eating a resisted Fly, takes out Copilot with a Rock Throw. So we send in Bodyguard, who takes Rhydon down with a cross chop. Last out is Nidoking, and I am 100% expecting an Earthquake here, so I have no idea what to do. But eventually I send in DJ, and thank God I did, because it went for Sludge Bomb, which we resist. We put it to sleep next turn with Hypnosis, and one-shot it with a super effective Dream Eater. Had I been fully healed, I probably could have avoided Co-Pilot's death, but mistakes are sometimes made. With the basement key in our pocket, we can go to the underground and enter through the locked doors at the back. And another thing I completely forgot about is a rival battle that happens right here. So although this time I'm healed, I'm not prepared for whatever he's got on his team. But there's no choice but to fight, so he sends out Pupitar, and we got DJ in front, who puts the Pupitar to sleep with Hypnosis before taking it out with a Shadow Ball and a Dream Eater. Houndoom comes out, so we send in Bodyguard as it sets up Double Team. Next turn we take a Flamethrower, miss a Cross Chop, it sets up Double Team again, we miss again, and take another Flamethrower before finally connecting a Cross Chop and taking Houndoom down. Golbat gets sent out, so we send in Rockstar, and I absolutely got red here because our rival also swaps in a Victory Bell, which is 4 times super effective against us. So we're forced to switch into Detective and take a Razor Leaf. Then our rival switches to Feraligatr and takes a resisted Flamethrower. I'm not really sure who to send in now since nothing resists its next move, but I send in DJ since it can heal itself with Dream Eater, and that's exactly what happened. Surf comes in, we put it to sleep, heal with Dream Eater, finish it off with a Shadow Ball. Golbat gets sent in, and we send in Rockstar once again, who gets confused with Confuse Ray. We hit ourselves in Confusion next turn and dodge a Toxic. Next turn I set up Swords Dance, expecting to break out of Confusion next turn, but we don't, and we hit ourselves as the Golbat spans Double Team. We are still confused turn 4 and hit ourselves yet again and take a resisted Wing Attack. We miss our next 2 Rock Throws as the Golbat uses Double Team and hits us with a Wing Attack, dropping us low. Since Kabutops did absolutely nothing and is about to die, we send in Chef, who has Swift, which can never miss, so we do some damage with that, get confused but break through and hit again and take a Wing Attack. We then send a Detective who also gets hit, but thankfully he knows Swift as well, and 2 Swifts later we can finally take down this stupid damn bat. Last out is Victory Bell, which we can cook with Flamethrower, but not before hitting ourselves in Confusion one last time. Just to show that the grunts in this game aren't a complete waste like before, look at this randoms grunt team. Yeah, Espeon is absolutely destroying it, we're also 9 levels higher, and using Stab Psychic with an Espeon, which does a ridiculous amount of damage. But this is such an improvement over Raticates and Weezings, and this lets us grab the keycard from whoever this guy is. To try and keep this video as short as it can be, I'm gonna skip over the next 2 Rocket Executive fights, since their teams are basically the same as before. The random guy from Mahogany Town pulls up and he's actually Giovanni, but he just tells Archer to rethink his path, and then Archer has a mental breakdown and dips. But the director, or whoever this guy is, gives us the clear bell, so that's pretty cool. However, now that we've dealt with that, we can go to Mahogany Town and pick up the Upgrade and the Metal Coat, which act as the elemental stones in this game, so we can use them on Lumberjack to evolve into a Scizor, and Electrocane and a Porygon too. With 7 badges to our name, it only makes sense to make our way to the final badge in Blackthorn City. But on the way there, we can pick up the HM for Waterfall and a Delibird who we named Santa because that's a full-time job. We also evolve Assistant with a Water Stone since the gym is a Dragon Gym, and this is our only Ice type. Well, besides that thing. With yet another team change, we challenge Claire, the Dragon Tamer. She leads with a Dragonair, and we've got Assistant in front. We set up Spikes and get paralyzed from a Thunder Wave, and just barely hang on from a Thunderbolt next turn, but we do one-shot it with an Ice Beam. Gyarados comes out, and we send an Electrocan. Now between this thing using Fly, us missing 4 Zap Cannons and using Recover, after what felt like forever, we finally hit a Zap Cannon, and it lives on 1 HP with a Focus Band, which if you didn't know, has a 1 in 10 chance to let the Pokemon live with just 1 HP. However, Zap Cannon also always paralyzes, so we can outspeed and take it out with a Side Beam next turn. A Lapras comes out, and we just spammed Recover while chipping it down with Tri-Attack. Cheese strats? Sure. But I didn't want to switch it into anything and let it get a free Ice Beam. Also, a Lapras on a Dragon team? Interesting. We eventually do take down the Lapras, however, and a second Dragonair comes out, but we're kinda low, so I send in Lumberjack, who gets paralyzed from a Thunder Wave, but we set up Focus Energy. Next turn we take a Thunderbolt and use Twin Needle, and look how much damage that does. Twin Needle was buffed in this game to 40 base power, hitting twice, for a total of an 80 base power stab bug move, which makes bug types actually good in this game. It's basically the X-Scissor before X-Scissor. Last out is Kingdra, and this is when I finally put 2 and 2 together that this is a Water Dragon mono team, which is actually pretty fitting now that I think about it. We take a Surf living on 28 HP, and hit a Twin Needle getting a crit leaving it on barely any HP left, but we do have to switch or we'll get outsped and lose Lumberjack, so I send in DJ, who survives on 9 HP from a crit Surf. Yikes. Thankfully, we do outspeed and finish off the Kingdra next turn, but this doesn't win us our badge since Johto seems to have not 1, but 2 gym leaders who get upset when they lose and don't give us the badge that we already earned. So we make our way to the Dragon's Den, and while surfing to pick up our badge, I found a wild Dratini, and technically this is our encounter. I don't know if you can normally find these while surfing, but hey, I'll take a Dratini any day of the week. We catch this little guy and name him Fisherman. However, we can also get the gift Dratini in the Dragon's Den, so this does make things kind of weird. The gift Dratini can know the move Extreme Speed, which is an 80 base power priority normal move, basically an improved version of Quick Attack. And you can get this if you answer all the questions correctly in the Dragon's Den. So if I do answer them all correct, then I'll replace this Dratini with that one, and if not, then I'll keep the one that I originally caught, and I'll release the gift one into the wild. So after answering the questions and finally getting our 8th badge, I accept the gift Dratini, who we named Fisher Lady since Fisher Woman won't fit, and it does in fact have Extreme Speed, so we will be keeping this one instead. Now we can go pick up the Master Ball and take our first step into Kanto. We also pick up a Murkrow for Route 27, who is an amazing plumber, and on Route 26 we can pick up a Dispatcher named Rapidash. We make our way out to Victory Road. The few trainers between Route 26 and here have some really solid teams, by the way, so if you're playing along, good luck. But back to what I was saying, we find our Victory Road encounter, which is a Donphin that we 100% pick up and name Cyclist. Right before reaching the exit to Victory Road, our rival stops us for yet another fight. And his Pupitar evolves into Tyranitar right before the fight. Great. He leads with Ursaring, and fortunately we've got Bodyguard in front who one-shots with a Cross Chop. Golbat comes out, so we send in Rockstar as Golbat uses Double Team. Great, more evasive strats. We go for Rock Slide and miss, and it uses Double Team again. Even better. Third time's the charm though, and we can finally hit through the evasion boost and one-shot it with Rock Slide. Victory Belt gets sent out, so we switch into Lumberjack, who 4 times resists a Giga Drain. We set up Swords Dance, which we recently learned, but get put to sleep with Sleep Powder. However, this thing has nothing to hit us with, so after being asleep for 4 turns, we can wake up and take it out with Twin Needle. Next down is Houndoom, so we send in Rockstar, take a Flamethrower, and drop some rocks to put this poor pupper down. Then out comes his starter, who we've really never had a good answer for, but I send in DJ, who takes a Surf, misses a Hypnosis, nearly dies from a bite, but next turn we don't miss, and the Feraligatr is having his nap time. DJ was a bit hungry, so he ate all the Feraligator's dreams, but no amount of dream eating would give him the power to take on a Tyranitar. Bodyguard, on the other hand, takes a crunch, gets a defense drop, but still holds on after taking an Earthquake, and even gets a crit Karate Chop, taking it down in one shot. And with all of that done, we can challenge the Elite Four, with a team adjustment of course, starting with Will, who leads with a Girafarake, and we've got Assistant in front. He goes for Agility as we set up Spikes, take a Psychic, and use Clamp for Chip. Next time we go for Protect, just to get a little bit more chip down from Clamp before switching to Lumberjack, who eats a Psychic. Seeing how much damage that did, and knowing that this thing probably can't do much more damage, we set up Swords Dance to take it out next turn with Twin Needle. Soaking comes out but also falls to a Twin Needle, and Xatu comes out and does a little bit of damage with Jopek but also gets one shot. Slowbro was out next, and although I'm low, I know I outspeed, so I stay in, and you guessed it, one-shot the Slowbro. Espeon is Will's last Pokemon, and I know I'm not going to outspeed this given that Espeon is a really good speed stat, so I switch into Electrocan as it sets up Reflect. We get hit with a Psychic that also drops our Spadef before doing some damage with Tri-Attack. I know I'll probably die if I get hit again, so I switch into Chef to resist a Psychic, and I know Espeon learned Shadow Ball through TM, so I just assume that this one has it, so I switch back into Electrocan predicting that. And because we swapped, we no longer have our special defense draft, which means we can live one more Psychic and finish the job with Hyper Beam. The second Elite Four member is Koga, who specializes in poison types. He leads with an Ariados and I lead with Assistant. Ariados uses Double Team as we set up Spikes. We swap in a Lumberjack and take a Giga Drain doing 5 damage. I set up 2 Swords Dance and take it out with a Wing Attack after missing 3 in a row. Muck comes out and dies to a Metal Claw. Quillfish hurts a little bit with Surf but also gets one shot by Wing Attack. A Venomoth comes out and puts us asleep. I try to stay in and wake up, but after 3 turns of no luck and being dropped down to 22 HP, we have to make a switch into Chef to resist the Psychic. Then we swap into Rockstar to resist the Sludge Bomb and survive a Psychic before one-shotting with Rock Slide. Last out is Crobat, who sets up a Double Team, but we hit through, dropping it down to Red HP with Rock Slide. I try to attack again and get flinched from Bite, then I miss my next Rock Slide, so we send an Electrocan and win the battle with a Tri-Attack. Halfway there, and next up is Bruno, who's got a Hitmonchan in front, but we've got Chef, and let this man cook. By the way, he one-shots the man with gloves. But that's just the appetizers, since Celix gets sent out and we rotate in Rockstar, who takes it out with 2 Surfs after almost dying to an Earthquake. Heracross gets sent out and we send in Gengar. Surprise, this ghost type is the actual cook of the battle. Hypnosis puts Heracross asleep, and this hungry man eats his dreams not once but twice. Boxing Glove's little brother comes out, but Collar Gengar are Snorlax the way he eats and eats and eats. Dream Eater and Shadow Ball takes it out, and Forearms from Ben 10 is where DJ draws the line, as Chef gets sent in and one-shots with a Psychic. Last but not the least of the Elite Four, we've got Karen, who's upset that her coupon expired, but Lumberjack takes advantage of that fact because as she leads with an Umbreon who can do absolutely no damage, Lumberjack sets up the +6 attack and +4 speed, and then it's just a massacre. Lumberjack slaughters them all like animals. Umbreon, dead. Houndoom, dead. Gengar, dead. Vileplume, dead. Murkrow, dead. No survivors. Finally. It's champion time. We get to go head to head with the best Johto has to offer, Lance. We lead with Electric Cannon, he's got Gyarados in front. He hits a Hyper Beam, we miss 2 Zap Cannons. He sets up Rain Dance, and we hit our 3rd Zap Cannon, one-shotting. A no longer underleveled Dragonite gets sent out, he hits a Thunder and paralyzes us. We hit a Zap Cannon and paralyze it. Next turn, Dragonite is fully paralyzed, and we heal with Recover. Then we take a Thunder, and do some damage with a Tri-Attack, but it regens with a Golden Berry. We take another Thunder, and hit a critical hit Hyper Beam, taking it out. But now we have to recharge, and we don't have that much HP. Charizard comes out, we could be okay. He set up Rain Dance, so Firepower should be weakened. Oh. We have to recharge, and a Flamethrower comes in. We live on 2 HP. Electric Cannon is not done yet. We swap into Rockstar, take a Flamethrower, miss a Rock Slide thanks to Double Team, live a Steel Wing, and drop Charizard with a Rock Slide. He sends out a damn Zapdos. Dragon Flying Monotype. Okay, I can respect it. Thunderbolt one-shots Rockstar. He's been with us for half our journey, and he will be missed. DJ comes out, hungry for revenge. He puts Zapdos to sleep, spits out 2 Shadow Balls, and takes down the legendary Aerodactyl comes out. Oh, I forgot to grab one. Whoops. Sleep strats stay on top. We put it to sleep and Shadow Ball it, but it wakes up and retaliates with a super effective Earthquake. Thankfully, we outspeed and take it down next turn. Out comes another Dragonite, higher level than the previous. We send an Assistant, and it gets a one-shot with Outrage. We send in Lumberjack, and I go for Agility, not expecting her outspeed, but we do and take an Outrage amazingly. We set up Swords Dance, and take another. It then recovers from Confusion with a Miracle Berry. We go for Metal Claw, nearly taking it out, but it lives. And it went for Safeguard, so we can take it out next turn. Anticlimactic way to become champion, but we do. However, we aren't even remotely close to beating the game. Maybe about 50%. We have all of Kanto, new encounters, our rival, and red. The game only gets worse from here. Once we take our first step back home, the professor tells us to come to his lab where he gives us the SS ticket and mentions that we can rematch all of the Johto leaders. And there's a little thing about this that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. However, since the battle is only getting harder, I evolve every Pokemon we have that can currently evolve, so we're going to rapid fire these next 2. We evolve Paramedic and a Kingdra with a Dragon Scale that we picked up in the Dragon's Den. We evolve Fish Lady into a Dragonite at level 55. We evolve Janitor into Macargo at an early level 27. Gym Leader evolves into a Poliwhirl at level 25. Auctioneer evolves into a Slowbro at level 37. Coach evolves into a Golem at level 38. And we evolve Gym Trainer again into a Poliwrath with a Water Stone. Okay, now as I mentioned previously, we can rematch all of the Johto gym leaders. And I also had mentioned that I'm playing this game blind, so I don't know what teams any of the trainers have or any of the changes. Only knowledge from base Pokemon Crystal. I did have to look at the Johto rematch gym leader teams for this section for one specific reason. There are a lot of held items that you aren't able to get access to in the game, or until way later, like the leftovers, focus bands, and items that boost attack power like Twisted Spoon, Charcoal, or even the scope lens that increases the critical hit ratio. And now I looked online to see if they were added into the game somewhere, but I couldn't find any information other than that the gym leaders Pokemon had them in the rematches. Like on how Bugsy's team, the Scyther has scope lens. And the only way to get it is to use the move Thief, which steals the opponent's held item and allows you to keep it after the battle. Now to make sure this video isn't 90 years long, I'm not going to do any of the gym rematches and just grab the items I need. I also make my way back to the Ruins of Elf, where I can claim an Old Amber after completing the Aerodactyl puzzle, but I can also claim the GS Ball for completing the Ho-Oh puzzle, which I then slide over to Kirk and he geeks out and tells me to go check out the scary monster in the forest. But it was just a green onion fairy who we named Paralegal. I then ran back and claimed a prehistoric bird who in her past life was a cashier, because they had cash registers back then. We then jumped on the SS Anne where some old dude lost his daughter, but I don't really care. So once the ship made it to Vermilion City, I ran off. Now we've got a bunch of encounters to do. So we're going to rapid fire them because I don't want to skip them just in case we make use of them. Ready? Here we go. We got a Jigglypuff who was the leader of a school, a Sunkern who tried to grow themselves before, a Caterpie who's just M, a Historic Snake backwards, an Orphan Maker, me if I was a bird, Water Pollution who grants you free V-Bucks, and a Cop Dog. We then talked to this guy who got robbed, bump into an abandoned Team Rocket member, grab the stolen part, and return it to the victim of the crime. As a reward, the legendary bird of lightning and thunder greets us outside, and now he's a legendary bird of whatever's inside my Ultra Ball. But given Lieutenant Surge's love for electric types and the history of this man, I wouldn't be surprised if this bird was a veteran. I then go and interrupt Misty's day because if I can't have her, nobody can, and then I proceed to ignore her because I don't know how to talk to women. But big, strong, buff army guys on the other hand. He leads with Electrode and we've got our trusty old Lumberjack in front. The upside down Pokeball sets up some rain, and we play with swords before taking a powerful 100% accurate Thunder and becoming Lightning McQueen. Tweenodle takes it out and the following Electabuzz, as well as a Magneton, but not before getting dropped to red HP. And then comes out the best Pokemon to have on an electric type team, Lantern. We send in Electrican who gets paralyzed from a Thunderbolt and we leave it on just 1 HP with Hyper Beam. but in return we take a lot of damage as this thing spams Thunderbolt. We get confused, but instead become fully paralyzed, so I send in Fisher Lady, who takes a crit Thunderbolt before finishing the job with an E-Speed. In comes Ampharos, and we send out the Orphan Maker on a Thunder, and take an Iron Tail that does barely any damage as we set up Focus Energy. We're able to one-shot with a crit Bone Meringue, and out comes Raichu. I was pretty confident that we could one-shot this, until it used Surf. Surfing Pikachu, just bigger. Gotcha. Well, Orphan Maker did fill the prophecy as his child no longer has a father. Don't worry, little guy, I don't either. The team is looking pretty roughed up, so we're forced to send an Electrocan as this Raichu is firing thunders left and right as we try to stall the rain with Recover and Leftovers. Eventually the raid does fade, and I'm thanking the lords above. Oh, it knows Rain Dance. Nice. We hit our Tri-Attack doing over half, and thanks to no crit or being fully paralyzed, we can take it down next turn and win our 9th gym badge. Now forced to face my fears, I go and talk to this woman, and you may be wondering why I only have one Pokemon on my team. And it's because if you haven't already noticed, Lumberjack is kinda OP. Turn 1 we set up Swords Dance. Turn 2, we use the buff Twin Needle. And in fact, for the next 6 turns, we use the buff Twin Needle that allows us to one-shot everything. Or technically 2 shots since it hits twice with 40 base power each hit. I found this very funny to see, but hey, when there's a pretty girl in front of me, I'm doing my best to speed up the process and get the hell out of there. Something about them, man. They're just so intimidating. Jokes aside, I don't want to entirely abuse this strategy any longer, so I'm going to put a ban on Swords Dance starting now. And you may be asking, why now rather than at the very start? Because I didn't think of that, but I'll probably never ever use those moves again in any future videos. However, this doesn't mean I'm ready to put up Lumberjack just yet, as the next gym we can take on is Erica's, who specializes in Grass-type Pokemon. But we've got a whole group of counters, as Grass isn't that good of a typing. Oh yeah, our Cop Dog got promoted right before this gym too, so round of applause for him. Jumpluff is first in line, and hangs on with just 1 HP from a Flamethrower thanks to a 1 out of 10 chance with Focus Band. And then next turn it hangs on again from an E-Speed. Thankfully we don't go 3 for 3 and we drop it, and next out is the Tree from Wish, who misses a Rock Slide, and we roar it out. In comes Exeggutor, whose head looks more like coconuts than eggs to me, but it don't matter what kind of head it has, or gives. It also gets one shot by Flamethrower. The imposter from Among Us is back out, and we send in Lumberjack, who takes it down with a 2 Metal Claws. Venusaur is out, and despite not wanting to have a repeat of last gym, I don't really have a reason to switch, so I Twin Needle and take it out with a crit. What even is this Pokemon supposed to be? Good Head Game comes out and gets dropped to red HP with a Twin Needle, and it sets up Swords Dance. Does this like normally learn Swords Dance, or is, like, am I crazy? We get a Dancing Hula Girl out as our last opponent, but to keep it somewhat interesting, we send in Dispatcher, who got put to sleep from Sleep Powder, and slept long enough for 3 Solar Beams to get hit, including the charge turn for each one. 6 turns of sleep. And when it finally does wake up in red HP, it doesn't even one-shot with Fire Blast. I cannot tell you how tempted I was to click Fire Blast here and hope for the miss, just to let this thing die, but I didn't, and I used Flamethrower, and that wins us our 11th gym badge. Only a few more battles to go. However, now it's time to put up Lumberjack, and I will not be allowing myself to take advantage of you anymore. Until I get the rest of the gym badges. Then I'll go back to abusing you. In battles, I mean, abusing its power to win, not hitting the Pokemon. If I try to hit this thing, I'm convinced it would just pinch off one of my arms or something. Anyways, my big brain idea was now that we put up one of our best Pokemon who was a perfect counter, why don't we go fight Sabrina? So we threw a team together that can hopefully overcome whatever she has to offer, and I challenge her to a battle. She's got Mr. Mime in front, and we lead with DJ, who clears the first 3 Pokemon with Shadow Ball, but then this thing comes out. Am I the only one who thought this was a Gen 3 Pokemon, by the way? Anyways, we send in our very own Batman as Wobbuffet tries to use Mirror Coat. We use Screech Tice as I don't want to be short of knocking this thing out in one shot, and thankfully that was enough as we take it out with a Feint Attack. Hypno gets sent out, and we go for another Feint Attack, doing a little less than half. We dodge a Hypnosis and repeat the last turn, leaving it on red, but then Batman decides to take a nap, so we switch into Plumber on the Dream Eater, who finishes off the creepy old guy with the clock. And then comes out Alakazam, who knows Thunder Punch, but Plumber just barely hangs on and one-shots with Feint Attack. Plumber, you are the GOAT. I don't think anything on my team was living any hits that thing was going to send our way. If we make it to the end of this Nuzlocke alive, it's because of that bird right there. Oh yeah, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but the levels of my Pokemon were lower than Sabrina's level because I don't know Kanto, and I didn't know that I should have fought Janine beforehand, but we go and do that now. Before we do, we grab the EXPN card, which allows us to play the Pokeflute. We also picked up and evolved Surgeon the Nidorino, before taking down its own kind with Janine, the Poison-type gym leader. Now I'm gonna be honest, I've never once not swept this gym. Every single time I played through Kanto, this gym has always been a breeze, and although she has a better team now, Poison types just get obliterated by Psychic or Ground types, especially in earlier generations. So Chef swept the entire gym, and that's badge number 13 secured. I then realized I didn't actually have the radio to wake up Snorlax, so I went over and grabbed that, and then we came back and caught ourselves a big ol' park ranger and a floor shit.
That's floor shit right there.
Next up is the flaming hot leader Blaine, and apparently he's not the only thing that's hot. It's even hotter than your mom. Okay, he leads with Rapidash, and finally making its debut, we've got Auctioneer the Slowbro, who sets up 3 Amnesia to max its special defense, and the Rapidash set up Sunny Day to start firing solar beams left and right. We also use Curse to increase our defense by 2 stages, and with the help of leftovers, we still got about a little under half of our HP left. And we stalled out the sun, which means Rapidash has to set it up next turn, and although it does cut the power of Surfs, we can take it down in 2 shots. Next out is Magmar, who hits a Thunder Punch, but it only did 20 damage, and we heal half of that back with leftovers. We do over half with a Surf and take it down next turn. Out comes Houndoom, and we switch into Electrican, taking a Solar Beam and hitting a powerful Tri-Attack as Houndoom sets up Sunny Day again. We take another Solar Beam and take it down with another Tri-Attack. The elegant Ninetales comes out and hits a boosted Fire Blast, leaving us on just 4 HP, but thankfully I clicked Recover, so we're back to half HP. We switch into Park Ranger, who dodged not 1 but 2 Hypnosis before landing a Body Slam doing exactly half. Another Fire Blast comes in, and even with the sun, it does nothing. We got ourselves a beefy boy. Well, it's a girl, but beefy girl sounds insulting, so. Hyper Beam takes down the Ninetales, and Moltres gets sent out, who sets up Sunny Day as we recharge, hitting us with a Solar Beam, and after a Body Slam and Hyper Beam, we take down the legendary Rubber Chicken. Finally out comes the true legendary Pokemon Arcanine. No, literally, it's the legendary Pokemon. Park Ranger takes a Fire Blast, dropping us pretty low, so we send in Cashier and took a Fire Blast pretty well before one-shotting with a critical hit Ancient Power. Back-to-back gym battles, it's time to take on Brock and his rock-hard Pokemon. Okay, I thought this was about to be an 18+ video. We've changed the team again to fit this battle, and I only brought a team of 5, so I hope that's enough. He leads with Golem, and we've got Auctioneer in front again, who takes an Earthquake before one-shotting with Surf. Kabutops comes out, and we don't have a Grass type with us, so we send in an Electrican who eats a cut before one-shotting with Zap Cannon. Aerodactyl's out next and hits a Sky Attack, but Electrican eats it and one-shots with a Zap Cannon again. 2 for 2, baby. Omastar comes out, but we miss the Zap Cannon, no 3 for 3, but it goes for Toxics, which leftovers kinda negates, so that's fine, and next time we hit it with another Zap Cannon. I bet you never would've guessed that. Then Brock sends out a Tyranitar, and we hit one last Zap Cannon, paralyzing it before Paramedic comes out and finishes the job. Finally, Steelix is our last opponent, and we go for a Dragon Breath hoping for a Para, and we get it, but it just has up Curse. One Surf finishes the job, and now we have one last gym leader to handle. But before that, we have to meet up with an old friend. We've got Electrican up against his Ursaring, and we hit a Tri-Attack doing exactly half before taking a Hyper Beam, but we use the cooldown turn to use Recover and take it out next turn. Crobat gets sent out and uses Double Team, causing us to miss Zap Cannon. Next turn we get confused, hit ourselves with Confusion, and the Crobat sets up Double Team again. But next turn we hit a Hyper Beam, we take 2 Wing Attacks and Confusion damage before switching into Chef, who takes it out with 2 Swifts. Houndoom is out, so we swap into Bodyguard, who takes a not very effective Crunch, and we dodge a Fire Blast before one Cross Chop takes it out. Victory Bell gets sent out, so we send in Fisher Lady, who takes a Sludge Bomb, and I go for Thunder Wave, but Feraligatr gets sent out instead, so they take the Para, and I know an Ice move is coming in, so I go into Electrican to take another hit. We miss a Zap Cannon and take a crit Surf, but we go for Recover and take yet another crit, so we swap into Paralegal, who resists the Surf. And I try to go for Ancient Power to get an Omni Boost and take an Ice Beam. We go for Ancient Power again and get hit with a critical hit Ice Beam that leaves us on only 6 HP, so I take it out with a Giga Drain and get some HP back. Victory Bell comes out and we swap back into Fisher Lady, paralyze it with Thunder Wave, and take a nap from Sleep Powder. After taking a Sludge Bomb, we wake up next turn and go for Fly, but we miss. And then get poisoned from the next Sludge Bomb, so I say enough is enough, and I pull out the big guns with DJ, who almost one-shots with a Shadow Ball, and we take it down next turn. Last out is Tyranitar, but we switch into Bodyguard and one-shot with a 4-time super effective Cross Chop. Next up on our target list is Blue, who makes fun of us for only being a Johto champion, so we gotta put him in his place. He leads with the final legendary bird Arcticuno, and finally making his debut, we've got Locksmith in front. We set up Light Screen and get poisoned from Toxic, and next turn we drop it to red HP with a Thunder and paralyze it. However, it does have a Miracle Berry, so that didn't do much. We also take a Resisted Sky Attack before dropping it next turn with another Thunder. He's got him a champ on his team, so we rotate in Chef, who eats an Earthquake and one-shots with Psychic, but that's good old Chef for you. Alakazam comes out, and I predict the Shadow Ball sending an Electrican. We also take a Psychic surprisingly well and land a Zap Cannon, doing about half to its HP and halving its speed with Para. We miss the Hyper Beam and take another Psychic, and I use Recover after getting hit for a crit, leaving us on just 2 HP. I use Recover again, and it gets fully paralyzed, so we take this opportunity to finish it off with a Tri-Attack. Gyarados comes out and somehow only does 50 damage with a Hydro Pump, and a 4-time super effective Zap Cannon one-shots it. Detective one-shots Exeggutor with a Flamethrower, and Paramedic one-shots Arcanine with Surf. And with that, we've obtained every Kanto and Johto badge. So much for Johto champion being weak. And now all that's left is him. But Before we take him on though, I go spend every penny that we've gotten throughout this journey on EV items like calcium and protein. Also, funny enough, in the middle of Mount Silver on the way to him, we get a call from Professor Elm telling us that we've got Pokerus. But now, for the final battle, Red. We've got our squad, and I hope that's enough to take on his team, whatever it may be. He's got his level 93 Pikachu in front, and we've got Electrican, who's been with us since all the way back in Johto. And ever since he evolved, he's been a huge help to the team. He sets up double team, and we hit a tri-attack. Next turn, he uses Thunderbolt, knocking us down to half HP before taking it down with another tri-attack. He then sends out a Mewtwo. I was expecting an Espeon, but wow. So we switch into Lumberjack, one of the best Pokemon in the game. He takes a submission and then falls next turn to a Flamethrower. Goodbye, old friend. DJ comes out, vengeful for blood, Shadow Ball one-shots. Snorlax is out next. Bodyguard, who's been with us since early in the beginning of the game, one-shots with Cross Chomp. Red sends out his Charizard and uses Outrage, but Bodyguard isn't finished just yet and hits a critical hit Cross Chomp, dropping Charizard down to red HP. Next turn he takes another Outrage and finishes the job with a Karate Chop. Red then sends out his Venusaur, and we swap into Paralegal, who's helped us throughout our Kanto journey and gets put to sleep from Sleep Powder. Unable to wake up, it takes Body Slam after Body Slam, crit after crit, and just when it looks like all hope is lost, it wakens from its nightmare, uses Psychic, but it's not enough. Venusaur uses Body Slam. Paralegal hangs on with just 8 HP remaining. It finishes off Venusaur with an Ancient Power. Red's final Pokemon, Blastoise, is out. Paralegal uses Giga Drain, doing big damage and regaining life. But then, goodbye Paralegal. Bodyguard comes back out, but Blastoise Quick Claw activates. Is it over for Bodyguard? No! He lives with just one single health point remaining and takes revenge for Paralegal's death, defeating Red and winning us the game. No. There's one more foe. Mewtwo wants a rematch, but it's a wild encounter, so we just Master Ball it and he leaves a very important message for you all. And that's it. We've officially beaten Pokemon Crystal Legacy with hardcore Nuzlocke rules. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I, for one, loved playing through this game. Pat, if you're watching this, you and your team did an amazing job with this ROM hack, and I strongly recommend anyone who enjoys Pokemon Crystal to give this ROM hack a try. I've linked Smith Plays Pokemon's channel in the description if you want to check out his series for how he made this ROM hack, or if you'd like to play it for yourself. But before you skedaddle over there, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and every sub helps out. Make sure you don't miss out on the giveaways and all the free in-game rewards you can get from downloading Raid with my link in the description. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.